To be continued, as we said, this fabricated dogma, what does it do to the person? As I said, if a person lives with worship, in other words, accept the oneness of God, accepting lordship, this contact, it gives you your uniqueness even among these multitudinous, what you see in the world, 7, 8 billion, 10 billion, whatever people. You have your uniqueness when you feel it. You feel it through this kind of worship. You develop yourself. We shall see this probably in a few minutes. This is, you don't know it. That's what you don't know, is your potential uniqueness, which has to do with time, space, and manner. You know what I'm saying? Your unique is not a position in a consumer-producer system. No, you feel it. You try to explain it to people, you don't find words. Or you feel the harmony. This is the secret between you and your creator. In contrast with this fabricated dogma of don't worry, the position, your identity is already there. And you try to work and to get there, characterized by there and the there, and I get it and I feel happy, and you give yourself self-indoctrination that I'm happy, I'm fine. Actually, you are not. If you were happy, you would keep quiet. You know what I'm saying? You feel more oblivious. You feel being pushed off, left off, forgotten, even among and lonely, and even among the crowd. I'm going to give a small example, quickly and jump. We have the process of fishing and hunting. I want to go hunting and I want to go fishing. Hunting, the process of hunting is I'm pointing my rifle, for instance. I'm looking at the animal. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the animal, I'm following the animal, and then I shot the animal, I knocked him down. It could be a rabbit, deer, whatever, buffalo. This is one case. In the case of fishing, I threw the net and I'm waiting. Maybe I'm reading a book. And then what I get from that, maybe I get octopus, I get tuna, I get lobster, I get, whatever, a lot, a variety of fish. In both cases, I made a plan. In both cases, I made a plan. This plan I was characterized by the animal. The animal that was I pointed my rifle on, the animal or it, he was characterizing, he was actually controlling my motion and my emotions. You get my point? This case, in terms like this case of fishing, I plan to fish as well. Both of them, but this one I'm not characterized by the agenda. Getting back to our topic about the Christian fabricated, it's like the image is prepared already for you. You get there, you feel all the time that you are oblivious, and that's how they feel. They feel, because real harmony is when you point your eyes inwardly, introspectively, you feel the light, you see the light, and you don't know. But here, what you find darkness. Darkness, and they tell you, don't worry. He died for us. Yo man, I'm suffering. You're telling me I'm wondering about myself. You don't see that. So, this fabricated dogma delay the symptoms of somatic and psychosomatic sicknesses. They don't appear right away. It delays the symptoms. Every sickness in the person who is believing in this fabricated dogma, which is a miscreance, the symptoms do not appear right away. They will be delayed. It's physical, talking somatic and psychosomatic. It delays economic crisis. In other words, there is Prozac in the psychological world, and there is Prozac in the economic world, financial world. And also, it delays every aspect. You don't feel it right away, because the way the fabricated dogma is camouflaging our rightness, the right to pop up to the surface the way it is on a political level, on a government level. You find millions, billions spent just to camouflage this. And And if you want to make some research why Corona is touching more people than others. You know what I'm saying? Difference. Anyway, it's not my topic. Getting back to the gentleman, Jesus alayhi salam. We spoke about the three things about resurrecting the dead, breathing and the blind and leprosies, and breathing the soul in a bird like it made of clay and to fly, the bird flies. You know, when you develop an emotion, the way it is the case with the Christianity here, the emotion is developed, it is not in a neural net inside the neuron, it's an extrinsic. Call it ego, call it a second personality, whatever you want to call it. Psychologists, they always find a word, you know, just display, but that's not you. Why? The emotion is developed according to the spectator, to the audience that you owe, you devoted yourself to. Here we are talking about institution. So, the first thing is to prepare an existence inside you to please the outside you. So the emotion has time space. That's why once the institution collapses, bankrupt, the emotion collapses with it, bankrupts with it. Here, the Christian, I'm not talking the Christian, all the world, but I'm talking about this particular dogma, fabricated dogma. This person, the emotion that he is giving the example of punctuality, you go to the Western world, punctuality is very respected, man, comparison to the Muslims. Muslims, you know, just present your condolence to the time, you know, just present and tell them, you know, my sincere condolence. Very respected. So the Christian here is carrying an emotion of punctuality, but he's not punctual because the big influence comes from the institution. The sincere believer, call him Christian, Jewish, Muslim, the sincere believer who does this under the supervision of the eternal, his emotion is intrinsic, not extrinsic. Extrinsic is outside the neural net, outside me. But intrinsic is me. Here you find the Christians carrying an emotion of generosity, but he's not generous. He is carrying an emotion of affection, but he's not affectionate. He's carrying an emotion of compassion, but he's not compassionate. He's carrying an emotion of gallantry, but he's not gallant. Sir, you are exaggerating. No, we understand some people are sincere, are good, it's minority. The big majority are influenced by what is the institution. Everything is institutionalized. The emotions themselves, they become institution. People, no longer a human being speak to a human being. They speak to each other, but they don't speak with each other. It's an institution with an institution, an idolatry with an idolatry. You know what I'm saying? They eat with, it's like an institution eating with an institution. Or, you know what I'm saying? Institutions, idolatry, human being contact is no longer existing. So here, what is the person talking about? The person carrying an emotion of generosity and carrying an emotion of security. What's the difference? They are inside him. Oh, come on, man, this is ridiculous. No. You know, a generous person, a punctual person, who developed this under the supervision of the Lordship, with worship with the Lordship, as Jesus came to teach, alayhi salam, this is what he taught. You will be the spontaneous person, you are the affectionate, you don't carry an emotion of affection. You are the gallant, you don't carry an emotion of gallantry. You are the compassionate, you are not carrying an emotion of compassion. But sir, they are inside the person's mind. How can you make this kind of distinction? 1 second. The sincere person is spontaneity, and this is the real feeling of harmony. It pops up by itself. The other who is carrying is a storage. He is storage. He's storing something. then it becomes a secretion, and then it disturbs him. It's like someone who is carrying vitamins in his pockets, could be kilogram or more. He hasn't absorbed them yet. You get my point? They are a burden. This person, I said, he carries when he wants to behave spontaneously, in other words, compassionately, he makes recourse, an option to a uniform. Il fait recours à un uniforme. It's inside him, but he wears the compassion. He wears the gallantry. He wears generosity. The other one, no, it's inside him, like sugar that is melted in the water. The other one is constantly those kind of air bubbles, they are inside. So he pointed his eyes inwardly, introspectively to find the self. He finds the self flowing. And this is what's going on with the Christian world. They see darkness. I'm talking about Christians because it's our topic. You know what I'm saying? But the world is living this. Now, when I say institution with an institution, so people like in the Western world, specifically in the United States, people, they don't identify themselves as a human being. He is a corporation with a corporation and a corporation. The mother is no longer a mother. His mother is like identified by position. And the father is identified with the position. Is this the Christian world? Jesus alayhi salam, the Messiah, the Messi, the word, the literature is in Arabic, al-balagha, is taken from the anointed, the one who is the caressed, because he was constantly down to earth. Or the reason for that, because of the touch, the anointed, the caressed. He didn't say the caresser. That's a passive voice. It's because Jesus was caressed by the divinity, by the oneness of God to transmit it to people. This is how he was resurrecting and was doing these things. I'm going to get to this quickly. So, when I say the corporations, the people speak to each other, but they don't speak with each other. This is the separation, which is today the agenda of Corona, is to keep you like a robot. That's it, it's no longer. You don't contact people. Quickly, by the time these virus, like this pandemic happened, don't shake people's hand. Don't embrace, don't hug each other. You will live up to the point when you need an authorization from somewhere to kiss your wife. Maybe it's a fun, it's a joke, but you're going to live it. This is how the pharaonic systems in the world, they normalize abnormality gradually. You bring someone from the 12th century or even a previous century, you tell him what's going on, he tells you, I prefer to die rather than living this life. But we accept it. It's like cigarettes. You get into the room where they smoke, you get suffocated. And then, it's just one cigarette only, and then it's normal because your lungs, they are, with the nicotine, that's it. That's what's the abnormality. They are giving you this gradually. It happened during during, Jesus' time, alayhi salam, the same thing. In the name of, in the name of medicine, they were kind of defying him. And that's why God gave him. Jesus is a hospital himself. He's a pharmacy himself. He's one though he was like putting people's immune system to be like a hospital. You don't even need that. But in the name of science, they infiltrated the idea to stay distant, don't touch, don't. It's a long topic. I'm not denying that it is existing. I'm denying the reaction that was prepared already in order to their agenda. And this is one of it. So leprosy is in order to keep people distant from each other. This is what he was curing. The system is very alienated. Family is no longer existing. The gender is no longer existing. It's a fragmented families, and this is what the pharaonic systems in the world, what they want to do. So when Jesus came for this purpose, to bring back people together. On the one hand, you say you have to love your neighbor and something, and somehow people who claim they are behind him, they are bombarding their neighbors. So this is one of it. Now, leprosies, then blindness. He cured people, blind people. Be careful, the perception is with the eyes. The perception is according to what you have been indoctrinated by. You have been indoctrinated to see the red color, you're going to see red color. You have been indoctrinated to see the green color, you're going to see green color. You have been indoctrinated to see a system, a pharaonic system, democracy, you will see it that way. But what did he do, this Messiah, this person down to earth? It's because the self-effacement of the ego, that's what gives you the possibility to go to the primordial binoculars, you're going to see reality. He was creating the blind people not by giving you the eyes back, you know what I'm saying? How many people were blind during his time? 5, 10? But that's not the point. He's talking more about self-effacement. Now, resurrecting the dead. Yeah, man. Yes, he was resurrecting the dead. Do you know all these emotions that we spoke about them initially just a few minutes ago? Those emotions that were formed. If the audience for the sake of whom I have, devoted myself for, could be institution, nationalism, wherever, not ikhlas. Ikhlas in Arabic meaning for God's sake. And you don't need to propaganda, you used to use this because that you're not sincere. The sincere person, you should keep quiet and do the things privately. Good things. And conditionally. This is how you develop the self. In other words, those dead emotions that are flowing in the back of your subconscious, there is a process of retrieval. You go down deep to your own subconscious and you shake. Like you shake the container and then they pop up. That's how your repentance, and you gonna feed them. You resurrect your dead impulses, your dead memories, your dead emotions. My God, I wish I have done this for the sake. Don't worry, God doesn't have time. There is never too late. It's a past, and this is your real youth, and this is how you stay young. This is your real eternity. It's not to carry death. You're carrying death. Those emotions that were formed for the sake other than the oneness of God, they are flowing with death. You resurrect them. This is the mission of Jesus. Alayhi salam. You resurrect them. Now, a bird, he fashioned a bird. The prophets of God and the saints are all the correct believers. They are against statues, that. People, when you see in a museum of Christians, they rush to show you, it's an art. They try to recuperate the self. They try to compensate. That's why, you find them into those pictures in their museum, especially the Virgin Mary is with the scarf here and a complete nudism over there. That gives you a big contradiction. The Virgin Mary is with the scarf and the big nudism naked completely on the other side. You know what I'm saying? They try to recuperate. This is what it shows you, how the nakedness in society, what does nakedness, nudism do to the society. You reach a destination without a journey. If you see the woman, there is no romanticism existing. Before you look at the woman, you exchange glances, as Frank Sinatra said in his song. Strangers in the night exchanging glances. You look at her, she looks back at you. That night you won't sleep. You keep thinking already which kind of poem you're going to write for her and where you're going to celebrate your marriage and your future children, to which school you're going to send them. On the other side, she does the same thing. Today, boom, that's it. There is no romanticism. There is a violation of the journey. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the reason why they have all this contradiction of images like that. And they call it art. They try to recuperate the self. I said I'm not getting little, far. The prophets are against those images. They are against the statues. They are iconoclast, not in terms of, as it is explained in the dictionary, breaking. And no, not about that. It's against those. And how can that Jesus fashioned a bird with the clay? Did he let the clay like that? If he left it like that, it will be decomposed. But he breathed the soul into it, and then it flew. It shows you the emotions. It shows you how you resurrect your own emotions from death. From this death you get life. That's how you should, generate this, by being in contact with the sublimity with God. There is one hadith Qudsi, which is in Arabic. It's not part of the Quran. I don't know, because this video could probably, when someone could, in the hand of Jewish, Christian, Muslim, whatever. But let's be neighbors. This reality, It was said by God, not the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it's not part of the Quran. He said I'm just giving this hadith to show you the power of the emotions. I don't want to go that far. I'm talking about what Jesus did, about resurrecting the dead, curing the leprosy, blind people, and breathing the soul into this bird. Why not another animal to stay on the earth? No, it doesn't stick. It's not controlled by the gravity. Zero gravity, a bird can fly. So these are the emotions. So this is the example I'm trying to give. You see, when God created the earth started shaking unstable. We don't know how. We might think that the mountains were created with earth. That's not. No, God said it was shaking. Then he created mountains to stabilize the earth and the rotation of earth. The angels, peace be upon them, asked God, did you create anything stronger, more severe than the mountains? He said, yes, the iron. And then they said, God, our Almighty God, did you create anything stronger than the iron? He said, yes, the fire. Then they said, anything stronger than the fire? He said, yes, the water. Then he said, look at the nature, how the chain. Then our Almighty God, did you create anything stronger than the water? He said, the wind. Then our Almighty God, have you created anything stronger than the wind? He said, yes, the charity, the son of Adam, in other words, a human being, anybody, his left hand doesn't know what his right hand gave. See, and conditioning, in other words, the calculation does not exist. When we put my hand and I'm counting, I give him this or I give her this, I'm saying charity, that's fine, it's good. But the person who doesn't know, what I'm saying, he doesn't know how much he has here. A decision is made by the central nervous system, of course. The decision was made by the governor. Does the left hand have consciousness? Yes, it does. Does the right hand? Of course they do. But the governor should not interfere, let people trade with each other. It's another topic. But the power of the emotion, when it is not restricted by time, space, because, therefore, which implies this segment of time and logic is established in your own neuron. You walk inside like a maze. It's a labyrinth. You make this plan because of this institutionalization of the emotions. You walk there. And then you say, that's a system. It's a systemization. It's a systematic. It becomes you are there and you are looking for this, how to be outside that labyrinth. You remember the example? So he said, the Son of Man gives charity because he's not programming, he's not calculating. He gave something, his left hand doesn't know what his right hand gave or has given. You get my point? So these emotions are stronger than the wind. The wind goes like the same thing. Jesus alayhi salam, he, blew the soul into the bird and the bird flew anywhere you want. So the wind blows everywhere. You are trying to centralize yourself with the somewhere, and the somewhere, therefore, he won't let you be everywhere. You are in a somewhere. You are trying to restrict yourself in terms of time to be at this exact time, sometime. You are preventing yourself from being eternal. If you want to enter, the metaphysical world, you enter it with this gentleman's frequency, exactly what God showed, gave us the example, what he did. Inspiration of a little baby, we're going to summarize this. He spoke and what he did. You know what I'm saying? It's not inspiration about someone that I put him as a mommy. Whatever you do, whatever kind of doctrine about the prophet, that's you. You draw something as a Pinocchio, as you do, you are drawing yourself. You want to make fun, caricatures, same things, doing it yourself. If you look like the Jewish people, even the Jewish people, the way they take their prophets, most of the prophets are Jewish. Jesus is Jewish. Most of the prophets, maybe Arabs, they are from Ishmael, maybe Hud, maybe, I don't know, up to Muhammad, 2, 3, I don't know. What they did, instead of receiving the divine message, they removed the divine message, they removed the soul and they called him a king David, a king Solomon, and a king Moses. Forget it, is a Nero, Tarzan. You know what I'm saying? If you look at these gentlemen, talking about Moses, Jesus, how much you make him important, that's your importance. The repercussions are on you. Not Jesus, my savior, to be like, this is not how you really give him a rank. You're giving it to yourself. We're going to wrap up with 2 words. We have a record that he will be back on earth, Jesus Christ alayhi salam, to establish God's kingdom. Jews don't believe in this at all. Christians, spirit, the kids, they play with the lions, with the scorpions. It's like, spirit and then the spirit and then that. He's going to come a man like me. That's the belief in the Muslim, faith. He's going to come back with Mahdi. Mahdi is the guided. He's going to come back and establish God's kingdom on earth. You like it, don't like it, that's the last of our concern. But that's what's going to happen. But what he's going to do first? What he's going to go to the Vatican to speak to them or something? He's going to kill death. Part of his mission. You got my point? He's going to kill death. Kill death? What do you mean by it? He's going to break the cross. He's going to break the fabricated dogma that was made after his ascension. This is our and other missions that's we're supposed to speak about, but we prefer to stop here. Listen, it's always a pleasure, like French people, they say, it's a pleasure to deal with a gentleman, a gentlewoman of your caliber. And salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.